everyone, Voodoo here, and I'm here today to talk about trinkets. Trinkets, of course, are a massively important part of your gearing journey. So we're gonna touch on the ones that Havoc is looking to maybe play next season in the War Within. Obviously, things are early, things could change, but let's take a look at some of the good ones on PTR, the bad ones on PTR, and the ones that like have some promise, I guess. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're pushing for 15,000 subscribers. We have less than 500 to go, which is crazy. And liking, commenting, of course, helps spread the video to more people. So with that, let's get on to it. All right, so we're here in game, and the first thing I want to talk about is the best trinket for Havoc for basically all forms of content, and that is going to be as ARa's Ritual Forge. I believe this is from the 4th boss of the new raid. We take a little look-see-loo here. I believe, yep, Forge Weaver ARa's, the 4th boss, drops the Ritual Forge. This thing's crazy. So it's an on-equip crit, which is, of course, really good. 2-minute on use. Whenever you use it, you gain 41, well, at max level, 45,000 agility. It decays over 30 seconds, but you do lose 15% of your maximum health. So whenever you use it, so if we were to use it here, boom, I lose 15% of my health. I get this cool little animation, and then I have this agility that goes down roughly by like 1,500 a stack every second. So that's a crazy agility increase. If we look at my stats here, I have a massive amount of agility. That's obviously decaying over time, and this is just like a crazy huge damage boost to use. And I'm not gonna lie, this animation they added looks pretty sick. You can see I'm kind of glowing around here. This trinket's crazy. So like, just it more than doubles your agility, I believe. No, okay, it gives you about 50% of your agility, which is like a lot. Right, like going from 98,000 to roughly like 150,000. That's pretty crazy. Also, I've never seen the new DK animations. Cool there. So this trinket's nuts. Fel-Scarred wants it as of right now. Aldrachi Reaver wants it as of right now. You'll use it in Mythic Plus because, again, it's so crazy, and like, who cares about the decaying? It's absolutely nuts. Other good one is our old friend Improvised Seaphorian Pacemaker. So because of the dungeon vote, we actually have returning dungeons. So the dungeon pool is going to be ARa-kara, Dawnbreaker, Priory, and Floodgate returning, and then the new dungeon Eco Maldani, All Atonement, and both halves of Tazavesh. So of course, these ones were voted for, so people kind of voted for the ones with the best trinkets in them. So Floodgate brings us back to Pacemaker. Now Pacemaker is just crazy. Probably play this in Mythic Plus, I have to imagine. But again, it's basically every 60 seconds, your ability gives you 4,000, like your first ability gives you 4,000 crit for 15 seconds. And while you have that buff, every crit you do extends that up to 15 extra seconds. So it's basically a 50% uptime, 4,000 crit buff, which is a lot, right? Like right now I have 20,000 crit, so it's roughly what, like 20% of my crit or something like that, roughly. I don't know, somewhere in that range. So that's like a lot of crit for free that we just get all the time, because of course we do enough crits to just saturate this. Now there is a small weird thing with this. So this, I'm again assuming we'll play it in Mythic Plus. Fel-Scarred is going to want to play it in Raid. But for Aldrachi Reaver, there actually is a different trinket that you're going to want, and this one's actually new, so I'll show you. I guess I'll just show you how the crit thing works, right? So if I proc it, boom, I have this buff up here. Now every crit I do just increases it up to its maximum, and once it hits 15 seconds of total like increase, it stops going up, and you can see it's up here, and we'll just tick down now. But it's, you know, pretty sizable crit increase. That's like what, like 10% crit from this thing alone. Oh, I also have keen prowess. It's like 5% crit from this thing alone. Which is pretty big, honestly. So swapping off that is the other new one that actually might have value. This is the one that Aldrachi Reaver is looking to want to use in Raid, at least in more single target focused things. So this drops actually from the Demon Hunter boss. If I show you guys here, the Soul Hunters, Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt. So basically it's a damage proc trinket. So it gives 8,000 agility, which again is pretty nice. And your attacks have a high chance to deal a Cosmic Onslaught, dealing 4,000 cosmic damage to your target. The damage goes up by 2% for every 1% health the target is missing. So at 50% health, you're dealing 100% extra damage on this trinket, which makes it really good for like raid fights. Generally speaking, as you progress in a raid fight, you're gonna have, what is this Demon Hunter doing? I wonder if they recognize me. Probably not. My name's Googleplex on PTR. But as you go through a raid fight, right, generally fights get harder as they progress. But this trinket's gonna get even stronger and give you more and more damage as you go through, which is honestly like kind of crazy, right? So if we just hit this target here, again, this is on not Aldrachi Reaver, this is on Fel-Scarred. So we're just hitting this target, yada yada yada. I'm not going to do a proper rotation at all. The big arcane thing you're seeing is the cloak, which is kind of a crazy thing for the cloak to give you, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, we're just hitting it, and we should see some procs from the trinket onto this dummy here. I actually don't know what it looks like. I haven't actually seen it. I'm not sure there's an animation or not, but we'll hit it and then we'll look at our thing after. But yeah, so as you're going here, you will just get procs of this trinket. And the reason why Aldrachi Reaver wants it so much is because you are heavy stacking crit with Aldrachi Reaver, because of the fact that the tier set kind of devalues mastery, right? So go off there. We see Cosmic Onslaught procced 2 times. It dealt honestly a lot of damage, 1.5 million. I think this boss is at 0, so it'll be doing a lot of damage. So there you go, 2 procs for 4% of my damage in that little thing there. But the new tier set for Aldrachi Reaver, if I just swap over to the AR tier set, oh, Fire Inside's on cooldown. So wait, it just came off cooldown. There we go. The new tier set boosts all your physical damage by 30%, which means that mastery, not very good. So here you go. 60% Reaver's Glaive, 30% physical damage, which means that mastery doesn't actually empower that at all. Which means that critical strike gets a lot better for this build. And you put so much into crit, you're at like 50% crit through gear. You're so far into the DR that Pacemaker kind of loses value, right? So there's not really much point in having it. Those are the big ones. There are other trinkets though, which we will kind of cut to, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm here. I want to talk about other options that are maybe interesting, and then I want to talk about bad trinkets, because the bad trinket section is always fun. So other things here are just 2 other on uses if you don't like the 15% maximum health of ARAs. But again, it's really not that bad. ARAs will always do 15% of your maximum, even if you're like damaged somehow. So if I fly up, I guess, and like do half my health, I don't know how much that would do. This might kill me. We'll find out, I guess. Boom, out of half, I use it 15%. 15% is like really nothing. I think it's reduced by versatility as well, so not that big of a deal. But if you don't like it, there are other options from dungeons. So Signet of the Priory comes from, obviously, Priory of the Sacred Flame, which I'm sure everyone is well aware of at this point because it's in the current season. Very good trinket, gives you 9,000 of your highest secondary stat, and then everyone else in your party that also has this trinket getting value from it as well. Not going to show you guys using it because there's no point, but it's very good. Then we have a new trinket from the new dungeon called the Lily of the Eternal Weave. It's 8,000 agility, 1.5 minutes, just gives you about 10,000 mastery. Basically the same as House of Cards. Now the thing with this trinket is that if we look at House of Cards from Liberation of Undermine, it basically gives you the same amount of mastery, but is almost, 30 eye levels lower. So this is 10,000 mastery. This is up to 10,000 mastery. There's a bit of randomness to it, but roughly the same. So I don't think this trinket will be that good. I mean, obviously it's still a decent trinket, 1.5 minutes, gives you a ton of mastery, but it has like the same upper limit of House of Cards while being a lot of eye levels higher, right? This is 668 on my screen, 723. That's almost 40 eye levels higher. And it's like the same amount of mastery. So that one is there. It's a good option if you get it early on, but probably won't keep that one around. We do use it though. I don't think there's anything cool animation wise, but I'll put it on my character to have it sit there. For a passive, Soleil's might be okay. The thing with Soleil is I don't really think the secondaries you get scale very well. Basically what you have here is just an on use. Well, it's basically a passive. You select somebody, use it, you give them 300 of your highest secondary stat, and then you get basically 1800 of the highest stat. That's not much stats, right? So if we look at something like, I don't know, like Pacemaker, right? Pacemaker is 50% uptime of 4,000 crit, right? We compare that to Soleil's. Soleil's is 100% uptime of 1,800 crit. That's not much, right? If we were to math out what improved Pacemaker would be, right? If it's 50% of 4,000, it would be 100% of 2,000, which is just more stats than Soleil's. Now, Soleil's does give you some stats to others, which kind of brings it up a little bit, but realistically speaking, not as good, but could be a good little filler option early on in the season. The one that I do want to talk about is the Unyielding Nether Prism. Now, I am going to use this Lily to see if there's a cool animation. You know what? There's an animation. You suck stuff in. I like that. I like that. It's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, it's just mastery, right? So the other one is Unyielding Nether Prism. So on equip, your harmful abilities draw focused void through the prism to deal damage between your target and nearby enemies. Increase per enemy. Effect may occur every 10 seconds and stacks up to 15 times with this power you gain. Then there's an on use where you consume all stacks, all power, to gain roughly 4,000 agility per stack for 20 seconds. So I mean, that's a lot, right? That's over 50,000 agility if you're at max stacks. And this is basically like, if anyone was playing a ranged or remembers ranged from the ARa Palace, basically the same as Spymaster's Web, right? Where you're damaging spells would dispatch spiders on your foes. It would give you intellect per stack up to 40, and then you use them all to gain 1700 and whatever. You gain agility or intellect per stack and consume all those stacks. Now, there are a few differences here. One is that this is a damage proc effect, not a agility stacking thing, which means it is definitely worse. It also doesn't give you any stats naturally, right? Spymaster's Web does give you mastery. Obviously, it's not as impactful as primary, but it does give you mastery. This one doesn't give you anything. However, every 10 seconds giving you a stack is not bad. Now, the thing with this is that it's one of those trinkets where, oh, look, it just procced. Cool animation. One of those trinkets where we're not really sure how it's going to work out. I'm pretty certain you'll always gain one every 10 seconds. I guess we'll go through here and see. Yeah, so it seems to proc basically on cooldown every 10 seconds. But the thing with that is that, like, is this going to be worth it to like stack up over time, right? If you're going to get one every 10 seconds, it means every 50 you'll get 15 stacks every like minute 50 seconds. So you will have it for meta, but is it going to be worth it because you basically just don't have a trinket off the rip, right? Like, I'm here, I'm dealing damage, but this trinket isn't going to have any effect until I consume these stacks, actually like empower myself. Now, again, the thing is that like, is like the empower is strong, but is it stronger than like Aziz's forward ritual or whatever? And then I'm going to just use this here so that we can see what any effects look like. Nothing too crazy, just kind of like void on my hands. But you can actually gain stacks. Okay, you can gain stacks while you have the effect up, which is kind of nice, but it's there. We have to look into it a little more. There's a possibility that it does end up being kind of strong. The damage it does is not very impactful. Obviously, my rotation was not good there, but it does like 2.5%, which is, you know, something. But there's a possibility this is good. We'll have to see and like cook a bit, but I'm not sure it beats Araz's Ritual Forge or Aziz or Araz, because this is just 45,000 agility on demand every 2 seconds with some crit. This one, you don't have an effect at the beginning. It's a pretty minor damage proc, like 2% overall, maybe less than that. And then it does take, I mean, every 10 seconds up to 15, it does take almost 2 minutes to stack up. When you do stack up, you do get a lot of agility, right? But even then, it's not even that different from Araz. So we'll have to see if this is valuable. I don't think it will be because it can't stack that high, but it is something that's interesting and it is like out there. So we'll see on that. There is some cooking for this one. I want to touch on some delve trinkets too while I'm here before we go to the bad ones. So there are 2 delve trinkets that have any value, I think, next season. I never remember if they're bringing forward the old delve trinkets as well, but if they do, obviously like Mechanical Core and Drink will be good. But this one, Void Touch Fragment. Your harmful spells and abilities have a chance to grant you a Void Fragment. Slain enemy always gives you 1, and then whenever you have 15, you absorb them to give you 30,000 mastery for 10 seconds. Now, I don't know the proc rate. If the proc rate's good, this will be kind of strong with a plus, especially because slaying an enemy gives you a fragment. So every pack, again, I don't know if it's like final hit, but let's say you final hit like 2 out of 5 mobs in a pack or 1 out of 5, it will ramp up over a dungeon. And then there's also Mind Fracturing Odium. Equip, your harmful abilities may cause your mind to tear piece by piece. At the 10th tear, you succumb, granting 20,000 haste, which periodically recover your sanity over time, which basically means that while you have this haste, it decays over time. Then whenever you slay an enemy or one of your allies dies, you, I think, always get a tear, so it gives you 1 of the stacks. So we just go hit a boss here. We can see how they stack up. Again, you know, okay. Not bad for Void Touch Fragments, it seems, unless I just got kind of lucky. Yeah, Void Touch seems kind of decent. Then we got our first Mind Fracturing Odium. So Odium could be interesting because it's basically just like a free lust. But really, these are just kind of going to be like RNG kind of delve trinkets that over time will give you some effect, but might not be the best. So as you hear, Mind Fracturing's at 5 and this is at 4. So, you know, nothing super crazy, but they are nice passive trinkets that whenever they proc, seemingly roughly after like what, like 10 seconds or something like, or sorry, not 10 seconds, like 30 seconds for one of them. Oh, here we go. My mind's frayed and now I have essentially what is lost, right, as it decays over time. So they're going to be all right in terms of like passive effects. It might not be the best ones out there, but hey, they're delve trinkets. What can you say? All right, finally, I'm touching on the bad ones. So there are 3 bad ones that we're never going to use. Astral Antenna is the big one I want to touch on because this seems strong on paper, right? Agility equip gives you critical strike. They can overlap. Problem with this is that it's a very low proc rate, And okay, it actually just procced for me. It's a very slow moving orb you have to pick up. So it's basically the same as, if anyone played it, Branch back in the day. And oh my god, is it annoying to pick up. It does say you can proc more than one, but generally speaking, I've never had it proc enough to give me more than one at a time. Because like even if you do proc them, the amount of time it takes for them to reach you, look, spawning way, actually this might be this, guys. But the amount of time it takes for them to reach you takes absolutely forever. Like, we don't have another one here, so not a good trinket. It seems to be like 1 or 2 procs per minute, which is absolutely like abysmal. Like another one hasn't been procced here. Other one is this on use, which just sends some goons in. Boom. Just does some damage. It's like fine, 8.5 million cosmic damage split. It's just like beacon, but does way less damage, so you'll never use it. The last one is Screams of a Forgotten Sky, which is basically infinite stars. Your spells and abilities have a chance to strike the target with an abysmal comet, dealing damage and increasing the gravity they take from future ones, and then when they die, they split. And the thing with this is that if you ever fight more than one target, it's horrible. But again, it just takes forever to stack up, right? Like I'm going to do my rotation here. It's just not going to hit that often, and because it doesn't hit very often, you never really have a chance for the thing to stack up. Because the thing's not stacking up, the trinket's not really that worthwhile. So it's just one of those things that's kind of ruined by low drop chance. Like we're hitting here and we haven't even had one single proc yet. Now if it does proc often, it's very strong because again it's like infinite stars, it stacks up over time. But like you actually need it to proc, and we still haven't gotten a single proc in what, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds here. So not looking good on that front. Again, seems to be like a very low, like 1 to 2 procs a minute. It's been 40 seconds here because essence rate came back. So, you know, there we go. We got what, 2 procs there? Not looking very good, I don't think. It just doesn't proc very often for it to be worthwhile, I don't think. So yeah, those are the bad ones. Trinkets. So those are all the trinkets for next season that Havoc might use, wants to use, and doesn't want to use. I don't know if people enjoy the video like this where I go over everything and show you in game. There are sims, of course, I covered those on Friday, which do have these trinkets in them. Things could change, but I know people like to see what's going on ahead of time. So it's looking like raid trinkets are going to be very strong again. Pacemaker is going to be crazy strong, but there are some good alternatives for Mythic Plus if you don't raid, of course, like the Signet, the Lily, and then obviously Pacemaker is crazy, right? Don't know if Dinars are coming back. I'm assuming they will in a similar form as this season, so you'll have some kind of catch up or deterministic loot if you are, I don't know, playing for Mythic Plus stuff. But yeah, I mean, like the trinkets all look visually cool from the Void, but a lot of the newer ones just kind of miss on some aspects. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. I will be live Wednesday for the rest of Heroic boss testing. That'll be on Wednesday at 3 p.m. roughly. Depends when I get home from work, but 3 p.m. Eastern. Probably won't stream that night for raid, and then we'll be ramping up streaming as we get closer to August and the presumed launch of the new season, which should be exciting. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. 15,000 subscribers, so make sure you sub and then like and comment to spread the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to everyone watching my videos, but especially to my channel members. Thank you Alexander Trifunovich, Rukaza, Fear Redefined, Loose Change, Jorge Polanco, Matthew Barr, Zuligan, Chocobo Merc, Gabriel Correa, Matchman 133, and Falafadar Dark Terror. Thank you so much to everybody. If you want to join and support me in making videos, consider following the link below. I will be adding more perks to this over the summer as I get more time, including log review, which isn't available right now. But again, I do appreciate everybody just supporting me and watching the videos. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.